Okay. And Oneida, what else do you think this week, this first week has been for you?
This week, I think, a ver, last night I was watching a series of Netflix in English.
Okay. Okay.
And also listening songs to introduce to this module.
Very, very good. Very good. That's, the more you listen, the more you learn and the more you keep in mind. So
Yes.
remember, I said that at the beginning in the introduction video. If you don't listen to English every day and you don't get used your ears and your brain used to listen to English, it's gonna be hard and tough, and the advance is gonna be slow. But yeah, so let's. What about you, Oriana? Thank you, Oneida, by the way. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your opinion. Okay, Oriana, are you there? Can you hear me? I don't think so. Oriana, can you hear me? Well, let's wait for Oriana. So, what about you, Maria de Levic? How are you? How's it going, my colleague?
Hi, teacher. I'm fine. What about you?
Good, baby. Here, doing my job, working hard, and sometimes I don't stop. But sometimes I don't stop because the day I stop doing things, I feel strange and I feel weird, and I say,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, I feel I am not producing because my day is based on a daily base produce. I always produce all the time.
That's good. That's good.
That's what everybody has to do. So what about you, Maria Dailevic? How has this first week been for you? About the contents, about the activities on the platform? Tell me.
Okay, well, first of all, I really like it because as the video is playing, when we are learning a language, it's really important to have abilities in the listening part. And sometimes when I listen some music or any news, it's complicated to get all the information to understand all the idea. And something that I really like it from this first unit is one technique that is 5 steps. The first is listen, then is listen and answer the 5 questions, why, where, who. Also listen and write the words that you don't understand, listen and repeat, and finally listen. I did it, and it's incredible how you understand, or when you are listening again, you can get new details from that information. It could be a conversation, or it could be a TV show, whatever thing that we are listening. So I really like it. I really like that video explaining that, because I always, when I listen a song, to say the truth, there are some words that I don't understand, so I have to read the lyrics. But it's the best thing is when we are just listening, and when all this exercise that we did in this unit, I really applied that 5 steps, and it helped me a lot. And I'm gonna do it in my next activities or thing that I have to do, or thing that I have to study for improve my listening. That is the best thing that I like from this unit.
Yeah, very good. Okay, Maria Delevic, it's very good to know. It's very good to know that. Very good to know that. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel really happy because somehow it helps. Yeah, of course. This is not a process that comes from one day to another. No. Yes, it's something that takes time. Something that takes time. But
the techniques help at the moment when you're listening and repeat, and okay, there is a new word. The most complicated thing was when, for example, there is a word that I don't understand, and I don't know how, maybe it's the first time that I listen that word. Okay, yeah. I'm writing correctly, so but we try to find the word, maybe it could be the correct one.
Well, that makes me recall something. When I was learning English, it doesn't mean that I am that old, but when I started learning English, what I used the most were cassettes. Remember cassettes? Cassettes. I was the most that people used were just cassettes. And I had this tape recorder, and I had this tape recorder that it was kind of long, and the buttons were in one of the tops, and the speaker one is in this top, and then that's the one that I use for listening. And I remember that when I started listening to music in English, and I wanted to know what the lyrics were, well, imagine, internet in that time was not that common. Actually, it was just like I'm telling you about back in 92, 93, 95. From that time, it was not that common. It wasn't easy like to find web pages. Not many people have access to internet. So I had to play the cassette back and forth, and try to write what I heard. When I couldn't listen or understand a word, I just called one of my teachers and asked him, "Hey, what does the song say here?" And then the teacher had to listen. Oh, it says here. It says that. So imagine, that was the way I learned the listening. That was the way that I most learned this listening skill. Imagine now that you have such technology, now that you can have videos with the lyrics merged, and there are pages that you can find lyrics everywhere for any song. So there are more opportunities for you to even there are apps that you download the songs, and the songs have these lyrics. So you use the phone, and then, okay, you just put this, and then you can watch the lyrics because I've seen them. It's very easy. It's very easy. So, well, yes, good, very good, Maria de Levic. And Oneida, why were you laughing? Why?
It's falling the identity.
Oh, come on, Oneida. You're bullying me.
No.
Oh my God. Well, that was my age. That was my era. And back in that time, CDs were just starting to be more common and everything, and Discmans and everything. Whoa, that was kind of crazy. Now you can listen and have the music in just these small devices called iPods that are this big. You know. Well, Oneida, thank you. Thank you for reminding me that. Okay, thank you for reminding. But remember, what the personality is that keep young. Maybe our body goes to a very old process. We keep our minds and our souls young. Okay. So as long as I can see, I have only 3 people here in the chat. But well, I think Oriana. Okay, Oneida. Okay, but I think Oneida accidentally dropped out the meeting. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So, well, I cannot see any Oriana. Oriana, can you hear me? At least, can you hear me? I don't think so. Well, let's start. In today's class, I want to focus mainly in 3 things. Okay, I just got 2 people. No more. Just got 2 people. No more. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, Maria Dailevic, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Maria Dailevic. Then Oriana, I think she can hear me.
Oriana, answer. I'm here.
No, no. There's, I don't know, there is no. Oh, there you are, Dixon. Now Dixon is connected. Are you there, Dixon?
Maybe it could be the audio.
Yeah, well, the problem is that. Okay, okay, Oriana. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to know that because I'm going to start the class. Okay, so continue with the class. Okay. So the first thing I want to start with is this. I want to share this. I want to share this image first. Okay. Very good. I want to share this image first. Okay. And then. Okay. Okay, let me fix something here so I can start with this. Okay. And this. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is to share this image. Okay. This image. Sorry. Sorry. This picture. Picture. Where's the picture? This. This. That's strange. Oh God, come on. Oh. Somebody's there. Okay. Who's there? Who's there? Who's got there?
Good morning, Professor. This is Diana.
Diana. Oh, hi, Diana. How are you? How's it going? Good.
Finally, I get the opportunity.
Oh, yes, because yesterday you said that you could not be here in this class, but hopefully, thank God you're there.
No, I just say let's make a try and see if I have. I told my kids, and they if we have full internet, and they told me that yes. So I tried to open the platform.
That's great. That's great. Welcome, Diana. That's very good. That's very good, Diana. That's very good. So let's start with today's class. So can you see the picture that I am sharing? Can you see the picture?
Yeah.
Can you see the picture?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. So
Yes.
there is one of the aspects of pronunciations that I want to have clear. And is the consonant blends. The consonant blends. I don't know if I referred to this topic in the previous module. I don't remember if I referred to this part in the first module. Did I? No?
No.
Okay, so what
Can you repeat it?
I don't know if I refer to this topic in the first module. I mean, when we talk about
No.
yeah, because I wanted to
No.
I wanted to
No.
go over this part because
No.
for me
Hi.
it's very
No.
Teacher?
Oriana.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, I can. Thank God. Thank God. I can hear. I was struggling. I was a kind of desperate. Oh, Oriana cannot hear me, but now very good. Welcome to the welcome to the class, Oriana. So
Thank you. I'm sorry for.
well, this is something that we as Spanish speakers, it's hard for us sometimes to deal with identifying these blendings. Blendings is like the mix or the combination of two vowel sounds. I know in Spanish we have I know in Spanish we have consonant sounds together. Consonant sounds together like CR. Yes, CR. When we talk about creyón, or we have the CH when we talk about like chola, for example, or we have the BR, for example, as to say bronco or something like that. Okay, but it is not that common in Spanish. It's much more common in English. So this is what Spanish speakers cannot understand at the beginning. Just for example, let me get this. Okay, look at this. This is spotlight. The spotlight. This one here. Can you see the spotlight here?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
Yes.
Oh, come on. I'm so dumb. Sorry. Okay, here. This is the spotlight here. So we have the BL. BL. How do you pronounce the BL in English? How does it sound?
Blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Well, blah, blah, blah. Like in blue or blame. Like in blue or blame. How does it sound, the BR in English? How does bruh, like brunch on brass. Okay, and how does it sound, the CH in English? Yeah. And sometimes the CH sounds like, as for example, mechanic. Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes it's not common. And so on. For example, we have the CL. The CL, how does CL sound? Cla. And CR, and DR, and FL, and so on. So I am going to move a bit fast on this part, because there is going to be an activity. That all of you have to do with it. Okay. So this is a kind of tongue twister activity. Because let's see how fast you can do it. So listen to me. This is going to be at the same tiring. And I am going to do it until this SW. SW. How does the SW sound in English?
Swim. Boy, swim.
Swap, 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 swap. Swap, swap. Because it's swim, 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 and swift, swift, swift. So,
Swim.
yeah. So listen to this. Listen to this. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna do the same I am going to do in order to practice that. And you'll see this. You're going to start moving many of the muscles inside the phonatory part, okay? So let's see, I am going to start like blah, 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 blame, blah, 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 branch, blah, 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 brass, child, change, challenge, click, click, cluster, click, click, thing, click, click, crate, click, click, rap, blah, 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 drive, blah, blah, drum, flip, 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 flag, flip, flip, float, flip, flip, freeze, flip, flip, fragile, click, click, glue, glug, 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 red, glug, glug, red, flip, flip, pearl, flip, flip, praise, flip, flip, prize, flip, flip, prime, scots, scars, scan, shine, shake, skates, skirt, fluff, float, smells, smart, snails, snakes, space, special, stinks, streams, swift, thorn, this, try.
Me perdí. Wow, it's crazy. So crazy.
Yeah, believe me. And this is going to work a lot. This is, hey, check this out. Check this out in this TH. Remember, how, tell me, what are the different sounds for TH? R2, what are them? One, and number two is. So that's why when I stopped here, when I said thorn, this, try, trick, tweet, well, rap, school, schedules, rap, drop, front, training, spheres, flash, split, spray, sprout, squat, square, straws, stress, throw, thrown. I got tired. I know this is going to be a bit challenging. I know this is going to be it's challenging, but believe me, at the end, you're gonna learn. You practice, and please practice and send it to me. Send it to me so I can like check. Okay, yes, this person is doing good. This person is doing that. So when are you gonna send it to me? Well, maybe you have chance till Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, so you can practice, so you can practice a part of pronunciation. Is that okay?
WhatsApp, right?
What?
In WhatsApp.
You want to?
Yeah, WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp. That would be great. WhatsApp. Yeah. I cannot imagine you practicing like blah 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 blah. It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, can you tell me how it is pronunciation? SPH?
SPH?
SPH in the last.
Because remember the PH, yes. PH sounds like an F sound. Sphinx, sphere.
The SCH as in school or schedule.
Yeah. The S. Remember, I told you the CH in child sounds like, and in challenge sounds like ch. But sometimes the CH sounds like as a mechanic, in this case as school and schedule.
Is it because it's at the beginning of the word that sounds?
Yeah, most of the times, Diana, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Diana, most of the times that CH sound sounds just in the middle or at the end of a word. But most of the times when it sounds like it's at the beginning.
At the beginning of the word. Okay.
At the beginning of the word. At the beginning of the word.
And then C and S is H as in school, in schedule, the sound is?
Yeah, sounds like school, schedule.
Example.
So, but remember, this word schedule has two different sounds. Americans, they say schedule, but British, they say schedule. They don't make that sound, schedule. So, any questions, any words?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
any
teacher,
comments? Okay. Oriana, tell me.
Teacher, I have a question.
What's your question?
Can you do and explain audio, but ya va.
Okay, think. Don't worry. Take your time.
Maybe in the beginning of the consonant.
To see the 5 registered languages. Can you see this picture now? Can you see this picture now?
Yep.
How do you decide which language register is appropriate to use? How do you decide? Well, as I said, deciding which language is register is appropriate depends on the audience. The audience refers to the people you're talking to. The topic is the content on what you're talking about. For example, I always explain this. As an example. For example, in learning language, there are some mistakes and errors we learn at the beginning when learning a language. For example, oh, what's that sound? Okay, so that sound was very intense. So the audience, for example, the topic. For example, I am going to use this example in Spanish. Because so you can connect quickly to that part. For example, it's common in kids use overgeneralization. Okay, kids use a lot of overgeneralization when making conjunction of verbs. For example, specifically when we use the participles, yes, the participles, o las formas pretéritas in Spanish. Okay, for example, most participles in Spanish finish in ido. For example, you can say ido, sufrido, but when kids use that same logic using the verb poner, they say ponido. See? They say ponido. And when you correct kids, you have to use proper language. You cannot say ponido no se dice, se tiene que decir poner, o yo puse en la forma pretérita de manera subjuntiva en la primera persona del singular. ¿Cómo le sonó eso?
Si no estamos hablando de un niño.
Yes. ¿Cómo le sonó?
El niño no va a entender.
No way, because I am not using the proper language to refer to a kid. You understand? You have to say, papi, se dice, yo no puse. That's the best way. You understand? This is the analysis, the analog I use when using language. Well, the same thing happens in English, but sometimes we are not conscious on which word to use. Remember? Remember in the sentence that I used at the beginning in the introductory, when you use the word choice, for example, Mary and John argue often. Mary and Joe brawl often, or Mary and John brickle so often. So these three words mean the same, but that depends on the context you use them. Okay, so that's the topic when you talk about it. And the situation, well, the situation, it depends on the place where you are. Yes, the place where you are, and the type of language you use in that case. Okay, so going backwards to these five language registers, there is one that I want to clarify. Okay, the first register of language is the language that is frozen. Okay, frozen. It sounds like the movie, but this is a type of. Okay, Samuel, tell me.
I have just to be secure. When we talk about register, we talk about how to talk to different kinds of people.
That's right. Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Very good. That's right. That's correct. The only thing is that we need to be careful. We need to be careful because as professionals and academics, because some of you are academics, remember, and most of you are professionals, you need to use the correct language. For example, this type of language, that the first register that we talk about is the frozen one. This is the language that you cannot change. Understand? The language that is printed, that is unchanging language that is formal, that is almost scripted, phrases that do not vary. You understand? For examples, when you are talking about something related to the Bible, you have to refer to that. You have to refer to that part the same way it's written.
You can change it.
No, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. That happens when you're writing, for example, an essay, or when you're writing your research thesis. So you have when you recall someone else's words, for example, when you refer to an author, oh, according to this author, he says or he points out this, and you have to use.
Oh, when we make reference.
Yes, exactly. When we make reference, or when we quote.
Okay.
Okay, Maria Delevic, tell me.
I mean, that definition is like use some vocabulary or expression according to the context. If I'm talking with a child, or maybe if I'm talking with an academic, I mean, the vocabulary that I'm going to use is different. The expression that I'm going to use is different. That's what you want to try to explain us?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to explain, and that's what Samuel Boada was the one who asked me. Yeah, because you need to be conscious of this. This is important. This is an academic part. It's a professional part, and this gives you at the end, most projection as a professional. Believe me, it's like this. When you make quotations, when you make citations, when you refer to someone's, use frozen language. That is the one. For example, taking text from the Bible or the Lord's Prayer or Pledge to Allegiance, or when talking about laws, that is something that you cannot change. You have to refer to the same words. Or let's say, for example, preambles of the U.S. Constitution or Venezuelan Constitution, but referring to Venezuelan Constitution is, well, let's move to the next part. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that, believe me. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so what about this one here? The second register. The second register is the formal way. The formal way. The formal way is one way of communication with no interruption, okay? When we use this type of register is when you are giving a speech. Yes, when you're giving a speech. Cuando estás dando una conferencia, when you're addressing to people. Understand? When you're referring to a group of people that you are presenting something and you use just formal language. You see, one is one-way communication, just one way. There is no the way or the other way around, just one-way communication. That's a formal language. No interruptions, as you can see. let me get the spotlight here. Okay. Oh. Okay, here you go. No. Okay. Very good. Sorry. Very good. Thank you. Spotlight. Yeah, very good. So, no interruptions. No interruptions in this part. No interruptions. Use in impersonal. You have to use it in formal setting. Yes. For example, I am going to talk about myself. I have been a speaker and a presenter in several events, and national and international events, where I have presented results of some research that I have made, or some activities, or some strategies that I have applied in the language classroom. So, for example, TESOL Venezuela, or TESOL International. So where you can see like 90, 100, 200 people sitting and looking at you, talking. So I have to use the formal setting. Follows a commonly accepted format, complete sentences, more complex syntax and specific words usage. For example, what about if I say this? Listen to this. What about if I say this? So when learning a language, every single individual needs to have in mind the knowledge of every single part of the skills, where you can not only accept, well, anyway. So using this type of language is just only addressed to certain kind of people, but they cannot go back to the message. Okay, so just keep listening. That's okay. Often used to show respect. That's another way. When you use formal language, is you use respect. For example, a formal way to introduce this part is when you introductions between strangers. Okay, hi. Let me introduce, this is Mr. whatever, or this is Mr. whatever, or this is Miss whatever. And remember, don't forget to use titles. Titles such as Mr., Miss, and Mrs. with the last name, not the name. It's the last name. Mr. Alvarez, Mr. Chacon, Mrs. Garcia, Mr. Boada, Miss Blanca, yes? Are the ones that are here. So, Miss Flores, Miss Delgado. So, no, I cannot say Miss Oriana ni Mr. Samuel. Remember, in English, we need to have that clear, okay? We need to have that clear. Rhetorical statements and questions are very, very important. Speeches, pronouncement made by judges, announcement, standard work at a school, public offices, or business settings. I know that many of you use this as formal language, a formal register in certain cases. For example, and I would like to ask for some, I would like anybody or every single of you at least give me a formal expression used in certain contexts according to your area. So let's start with Maria Dailevig. This is the one that I see first here. Nope. No? What about Doneida? No? Well, well, I think nobody wants to tell me anything, but well, I would like to know which are the formal expressions that you use in your context in English. Does
But
anybody want to say
I'm here,
something?
teacher. It's just that I have I'm here. My audio was inactivated. I didn't notice that. Sorry.
Okay.
The formal expression that I use, as you explained, if I'm gonna write form an email, the greeting, dear Mr. or Miss, the closing, best regard, sincerely,
Sincerely.
maybe,
Yeah.
this is, for example, if it's an email, thank you for considering this, I will highly appreciate it. Or you're talking about the speaking, hello, Mr. Good morning, how are you? That is also according to the content, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the most important thing when you are writing something to somebody is like a sentence that we can use.
Hell yeah. That's right. Well, let's move into the next part because I need to continue with this. So, the third register we need to have in mind is the consultative. Yeah? Consultative is like two-way participation. And this two-way participation is when you have this type of register in a professional setting, as it says there. Yes? For example, we need to have a special agreement in something. I want to use, let's say this company needs to know which product to use, this one or this one. Yeah. So they start, maybe they start, between workmates to start discussing, well, I consider this product could work better if we apply it this way, but these, the description of these, so that's why. So background information is provided. Because when you are making consultative, it means that you need to know what you're talking about. And when you're talking about means that you have that prior knowledge that is obviously that you need to have it. For example, that's why it says prior knowledge is not assumed. It's not assumed wants to mean that it is obviously that if you're making a consultant or when you're giving opinions about that, so you need to know about that. Interruptions and feedback filters are allowed. Oh, I see. Well, good. Yeah, cool. So this type of fillers, they are called fillers, are allowed, but try not to use them that constantly, okay? Be careful when using fillers in a job interview. Yeah, for example, when kids are learning or trying to explain something, they use a lot of fillers and they replicate the same fillers. For example, when a kid wants to tell something happened at school, they say, well, I was at school and then one of the kids was doing this and then you do then, that's a filler. But just because they're learning how to use fillers, they just can understand after they move into a very high level of language management. That is going to be around 10 or 11 years. More complex syntax and longer phrases. Yeah, more complex syntax and longer phrases. For example, what do you think about product? That's okay. No, that's not allowed. What do you think about product? Well, according to the product description and according to the product recommendation, I think could be this. Longer phrases. Examples, doctor, when referred to patient, lawyer, they always say client, they don't say body. The lawyer is when to refer a judge, They are not going to tell, hey, man. They cannot say that. Teacher, yes, the teacher when referred, hey, you, student, you. Or of course, if the teacher has some kind of knowledge or kind of relation with the students for long, so you can like have this. Okay, so superior to subordinate or colleagues and peers. Of course, be careful with this. There are cultural aspects. There are cultural aspects, and we, as Venezuelans, y nosotros como venezolanos, we struggle a lot with this because we are very friendly. We are very friendly. We are all the time, oh, mi amor, oh, mi vida, oh, cariño, claro, bebé, no hay problema por eso. You understand? So be careful when using that language, okay? That's a cultural aspect from Venezuelans that sometimes when you deal with some other people from some other countries, you need to have that clear. Oh, we are very, very like, very easygoing when using language. I have seen lots of memes, lots of memes saying things like Venezuelans do. You see? So be careful with that. Moving on to the next part is this word, the casual register. The casual register is like very informal language. It's with the ones that you use with your friends, okay? Ellipses and slangs are common. Ellipses is like, for example, repeating things in different ways, and slangs is like, for example, I would like someone here, please tell me, how do you address a friend? Cuando ven un amigo, ¿cómo le dicen? How do you address in Spanish? I want someone to tell me.
It's like a question, for example, me.
Yeah. For example, when you refer to a friend, when you see, for example, my friends used to tell me, hey, ¿qué pasó, rata? Something like that. Okay, what are the expressions that you use when you address a friend or a very...
Hola chama.
¿Qué pasó, weón? Something... Yes.
¿Qué huele?
They just make they make prosody, o tal vez pueden usar prosodia. Prosody is just body language. Body language is like, or body language like, or body language when you see a woman, hey, or something like that. So that's a casual register, but very, no background information is provided. You don't need information, like background information provided when you refer to your friends. It's a group language, okay? It's a jargon. Jargon is una jerga or colloquial language because sometimes we use special words with friends. For example, in Venezuela, it's common, ¿qué pasó, weón? Mire, weón. ¿Qué pasó, weón? In some other countries, they use, for example, marica. Or in some other words, like, for example, rata. You know what I mean?
In Ecuador is a man.
Man.
También.
Where?
Tanto para hombres como mujeres, man.
Man. Oh.
¿Sí? Oh, mire ese man. Hola, man.
Oh, didn't know that. Very good. And Samuel said something.
For example, another in Ecuador that people, two friends, for example, they say like miso.
Miso?
Es como que llegan, oh, miso, todo bien, y cosas así.
Ah, okay. Yes, it's like, for example, using like for example, Spanish, Spaniards or Spanish, they say like chaval or crío, yeah, something like that. I don't know which other ones you use. For example, my friends, between our friends, they used to call me chato, and we call everyone chato. ¿Qué pasó, chato? Chato por acá. Now, in Colombia, it's very common use man to refer to the men, vieja to refer to the women. Okay, So context and non-verbal communication is important. Non-verbal communication is like, or something like this, or that's non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication. Friends and acquaintances, family, teammates, chats and blogs. That's the fourth register. And the last register to keep in mind in a language is consultative. Wait. That's strange. Okay. Let me check this. This one here. Very important. Can you see it? And the last register that we're going to talk about is the oh, sorry, I'm looking for it. This one here. Well, the last register we're going to talk about is the intimate. Well, intimate language. Well, we have like gone through the other four. Remember the frozen, the casual, the formal. But in this part, it's like I would call this like a very, very personal language. This is a kind of, this type of register, we need to use it very careful, and try not to use it, well, you know, it's a social rule. We cannot use like this type of register with people, just with, like, for example, this is non-public, as you can read here. As you can read here, it is not non-public. Let me check with the spotlight here. It's non-public, and be careful with that. The intonation as important as wording as grammar, yeah? Well, with intonation, most of these intimate languages with low and very soft intonation. Because most of the times this type of intonation is just addressed to the ear, that's it. And well, the wording and grammar, it means that the type of words, or maybe the words that you create, or maybe a couple create just to refer to certain things that you must know what I'm talking about, yeah? And as you can see, this is often a private vocabulary. It's a very, very private vocabulary. I would say that it would be like the dark part of all the language references, I mean. For example, which people or which couples or which parts or peers use this type of language. This type of language is intimate. They use them like husband and wife, boyfriend as girlfriend, twins or siblings. We even use intimate language with pets as well. Yeah, because we don't call the same way, or we don't use the same intimate language to pet with one pet. For example, when we refer to another, we won't do it. And be careful with this part. In this intimate register, it is also included the sexual, the language that is used for sexual harassment as well. So, what I wanted to do with all the registers in language communication or in using language is for you to have clear when and how to use the language according to the context where you are having this part. Well, I hope you have liked this class, and I know I had to rearrange this last part and put the images I could not put in the class, but I think I already fixed it. And well, if you have any other comment about this, just please let me know in advance, and I can figure it out and give you feedback. And I do really hope and expect you're doing great. And remember, we're having an activity for doing this week. Remember, one is the pronunciation, and the other one I'm going to let you know through the WhatsApp group
for you to perform that activity this same week. I'll let you know later. Well, I am going to